I just read something that made me cry happy tears. The Respect for Marriage Act, H.R. 8404, now heads to the Senate after passing in the House 267 to 157 back on July 19th. Approximately 70% of American adults believe that same-sex marriages should be legal. This bill was made in direct reaction to Justice Clarence Thomas's declaration of war on various previous Supreme Court decisions in his Dobbs opinion, in which he specifically called out the use of contraception in Griswold versus Connecticut in 1965, same-sex intimacy in Lawrence versus Texas in 2003, and same-sex marriage Obergefell versus Hodges in 2015. There are others that he and other conservatives, including most likely most or all of those who voted to overturn Roe versus Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey last month, despite the contradicting claims of Justice Alito, would likely also want to see overturned, including contraception for unmarried couples, Eisenstadt versus Baird in 1972, interracial marriages, Loving versus Virginia in 1967, and not being sterilized without consent, Skinner versus Oklahoma in 1942. The Respect for Marriage Act, or RMA, does not provide national protection for same-sex marriages in all states, but does allow for it in states that don't oppose it. As the Washington Post put it, over the span of a few terse paragraphs, it removes the prohibition on same-sex marriage introduced with the 1996 Defense of Marriage Act, or DOMA, and stipulates that any individual's marriage is federally recognized if it is legal in that person's state. VGov.com added, it also would formally repeal the 1996 law known as the Defense of Marriage Act, which defined marriage for federal purposes as a union between a man and a woman. In other words, no same-sex marriages are federally recognized at this time. The summary on Congress.gov says, this bill provides statutory authority for same-sex and interracial marriages. Specifically, the bill repeals and replaces provisions that define, for purposes of federal law, marriage as between a man and a woman and spouse as a person of the opposite sex, with provisions that recognize any marriage that is valid under state law. The Supreme Court held that the current provisions were unconstitutional in United States versus Windsor in 2013. The bill also repeals and replaces provisions that do not require states to recognize same-sex marriages from other states, with provisions that prohibit the denial of full faith and credit or any right or claim relating to out-of-state marriages on the basis of sex, race, ethnicity, or national origin. The Supreme Court held that state laws barring same-sex marriages were unconstitutional in Obergefell versus Hodges in 2015. The court held that state laws barring interracial marriages were unconstitutional in Loving versus Virginia in 1967. The bill allows the Department of Justice to bring a civil action and establishes a private right of action for violations. This is an important step for equality in the U.S., if passed, and asserts the truth, mind you, that the non-destructive rights of some cannot be trampled by the convictions of others. I can only wish and hope that the laws under fire by conservatives like Thomas would be added to the Bill of Rights. I hope that the bill will pass without being deleteriously rewritten. You can see more if you go about the bill if you go to www.congress.gov/bill/117th-house-bill/8404. Okay, so in writing that up, I came across an article on what I guess is a Christian website called the Daily Signal. Now, I assume this is some kind of a pseudo news website that's religiously biased, but I really don't know. So there was an article written by David Clausen, 4 compelling reasons for the Senate to oppose redefining marriage. And I will be covering that article in the next video, if you'll just stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. And please vote to support the RMA.